Hi, Bones.
Howdy. That, how do I put this gently? We had a flavor of Crystal Light I had never seen before in our cupboard. I was out of my regular flavor, which is fruit punch. So I decided to try it. Kind of tangy. It's the orange banana strawberry, like breakfast flavor.
Orange banana strawberry?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's kind of like drinking like an orange Julius, but not as good.
Do they still have orange Julius?
Yeah, now you can get them directly from, like, Dairy Queen. Like, I'm actually not joking. Apparently, like, a lot of Dairy Queens are now offering orange Julius as a part of the menu.
Well, I haven't been to Dairy Queen in quite a while, so...
Yeah, well, I live in the Midwest where they're, like, every other block.
Welcome, ladies and guests, to episode 19 of the Super Happy First Summer Frosty Party with Kiki and Bones. Pour yourself a cup of tea and enjoy.
So what would you like to talk about?
I have no clue. None whatsoever.
Well, you finished something recently.
Yes, finally, after 9 months, I finally watched all of Madoka Magica.
Oh, yay! So I suppose we can talk about that.
Yes, we can.
If you're awake
I was
enough
complaining
for it.
that it's actually far beyond 11:30, and why didn't I respond directly at 11:30? Well, you just said it isn't 11:30, but I didn't respond because it took me about 10 minutes to actually wake up and slap my alarm. Stupid Phil. But yes, Madoka Magica is both simultaneously the most depressing and the most uplifting and hope-giving thing I've ever watched. I think that's the right word. I was honestly worried that they were gonna do the whole bad ending.
Yeah.
And I was gonna be really sad if they did that, because it would just be like, there is no light, there is only darkness as far as you can see. I hate it when they do. I get it's like an American thing, but I hate it when they do endings like that. Like, there is no good, there is only evil. It's like, well, that kind of sucked. I mean, to be fair, it was kind of like, it was kind of a bittersweet ending, but it wasn't like, I mean, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot better, but it could have been a lot worse.
Mm.
I mean, really, by the end, I wanted to see them stick it to those little fucking things so bad. Fucking QB. He's just such a smug little shit.
Well, it doesn't understand emotions, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, emotion is a mental illness on my planet. Well, that's good to know. It explains so much about your species using another sentient species to basically farm energy.
Mm-hmm.
The entire reason, like, when he starts talking about how we're just like cattle to them, except that we treat them better, except that they treat us better than we treat our cattle, I was like, wow, way to completely take that out of context.
Mm-hmm.
If you genuinely look, I mean, corporate farms, okay, yeah, you've got a point, but everybody else, you've got to be fucking crazy. The entire point of raising meat for the slaughter is that you make it fast. You're not supposed to make animals feel pain when you slaughter them. It's supposed to be a quick thing. Is it barbaric? Well, yeah, you're killing an animal to eat it, but it's a little different than basically playing on the emotions of an entire race to breed energy.
Yeah.
That's all I could keep thinking. I'm just like, you are fucking evil. You are pure evil. You have no... You lack the one, like, universal empathy for other things. You're just like, well, you're just a way for us to fill our quota of energy. And if you're stupid enough to fall for what we're offering, well, that's your problem. It's like, you have godlike powers, and you know you know that there's always a bad end for anyone that takes your, there's always a catch. And you're like, well, it's not my problem if you don't ask what the catch is. It's like,
Yeah.
part of the whole thing about being an advanced race is that you don't do that to other things. Well, you've done so many great things. Your sacrifices, the horrors we've put you through has allowed us to basically fill our quota. And the one moment that I was like ready to basically commit an entire species genocide was like the last time that Homura tried to save her, and he said something on the lines of, well, at this point we've filled our quota. You guys are on your own. Have fun. I was just like, wow, you would destroy an entire planet because in the scheme of things that solves everything.
Yes, one of those, it's just a tiny little planet. I'm saving the whole of everything.
I mean, I can understand the altruism behind that, but the whole deal with that is that you're not committing genocide. At a certain point, any sentient creature is going to ask the question of, I mean, their species conveniently gets away with it because they say, well, we don't have emotions. It's just death. It's like you have wiped out an entire planet because, hey, you guys conveniently have the one thing that we've bred out of our species that we need to make this plan work.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. And I just loved basically it was the ring cycle, and it blew my mind. I never saw it coming until I realized that Homura was a time traveler, and I'm like, ah, shit. I kind of got a feeling because there's the one episode where Homura meets Madoka in the park, and Madoka says something on the lines of, haven't we done this before? That can't be true. And then runs off. And I'm like, yeah. Wait a minute. And that kind of I was like, yeah, they wouldn't have done the ring cycle. That's nuts. And that was exactly, it was a magical girl ring cycle. That's exactly what happens in the classical story, is that basically does it over and over and over again, trying to undo the unstoppable fate. Mm-hmm. And I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't really know what to say. It was just like, wow, I was sad that there still had to be this massive sacrifice in order to basically right the universe.
Yes. Madoka added the, emotional, I lost all my words. Wow. She kept the fact that they're, of course, sacrificing themselves, but not letting them become the very things they were fighting.
Yeah. Which
was the most, despicable part of it. Sure, they're essentially zombies, and their wishes are sometimes, highly frivolous because they didn't have time to think about it, or they weren't given the entirety of the information.
Yeah.
But in the end, someday you're going to become that thing that you find terrible.
Yeah. It's a vicious,
one or the other.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle that has no end, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The more girls he talks into contracts, the more energy they produce, and they actually want powerful magic girls because they make powerful witches that when they're destroyed will give off so much energy that it'll undo heat death, which I loved as an idea, that they're collecting energy to stave off heat death in the universe. And I'm like, yeah, here's the thing, Chief. As far as we're aware, barring some, magical jump in science, heat death isn't a thing that humanity's probably ever going to have to worry about happening.
Well, remember, advanced race, fucking fantasy. but thinking of the whole of existence and not just a little planet.
My whole point is this, that by our calculations, it'll take trillions of years for heat death to occur on a universal scale.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask, well, what does that mean? The average lifespan of a species is less than 1 million years.
Yeah.
Like, it's like saying there's this horrible guy coming to kill you, but he'll only how can I put this? Like, it's a span of time thing. It's like the sun is going to red giant long before and swallow up the planet Earth long before universal heat death occurs. And I just, like, that's what blew my mind. I'm thinking, like, okay, seriously, no matter how old your species is, QB, like, the laws of physics state that you won't be here when it happens. We're not aware of. I mean, in reality, we're not aware of anyone else in the universe, galaxy, the solar system. But at the same time, it's like how could a species is going, well, we're going to try to stave off universal heat death, except that universal heat death isn't going to happen for trillions and trillions of years. Like, we won't even exist when it occurs. It's likely that most of the universe won't even exist because all the stars will have gone out at that point, and there will be. And the whole idea behind universal heat death is that basically all the energy that was expelled when the galaxy, when the universe big banged at the beginning, will have been used up, and thus the universe will be slowly contracting on itself so that it can commit another big bang. That's what the universal heat death leads to, what's called the big crunch, when the whole of the universe collapses in on itself and another big bang happens. It's it's like children playing with concepts they don't quite understand. They're going, well, yeah, heat death is a horrible thing, but the whole deal is it happens when all the stars in the universe have gone out. There's no energy left in the universe. Everything has gone dark. Thus, nothing could be alive anyway, because all the stars are dead.
Mm-hmm. Well, I suppose that's one of the things behind the show, is that even though we're given the reason, we're only given it from what Shfjtp is willing to tell.
Yeah.
Or what he thinks we have to know. So we don't know if, like, why they're concerned beyond the fact that it will happen someday.
His exact words, when finally goaded by Homura, was, well, we don't want the universe to become this desolate wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to become a day when humanity will finally leave this little planet, and would you really want to leave the planet and find a desolate universe? And I honestly burst out laughing. And I was talking to one of my other friends about it, and they were like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, "Okay, seriously, in the span we have until the possibility of us developing interstellar travel, universal heat death would not occur in any way, shape, or form." He's basically bullshitting people.
Yeah.
No, it's all based on the fact that these are teenage girls and they have no concepts of universal physics. But it's one of those things where they live in a slightly futuristic Earth, obviously, by the looks of, like, technology and whatnot. And so it's not unheard of that he would say these things and they wouldn't just, like, wiki it.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend kind of goes, you have a point. They never once question what he's telling them. They just assume he's telling the truth. Yeah, he's holding off on some things, but I'm like his shit is basically weapons grade polonium, and that's what blew my mind. He's basically what now?
Polonium.
It's my word for people who are basically it's when people use science and other people's, complete, lack of understanding of science to basically scare them into doing things. Gotta watch out for what's the name do monohydrin dioxide. It's a horrible chemical. Causes. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I had it backwards. Dihydrogen monoxide.
Okay.
I knew that sounded wrong. It sounds like this horrible chemical. And we used to have games about that, about going out with the quad at school and basically scaring, normies with the, it's a horrible, listing off the horrible things. You're talking about water. Like, people don't know enough, so they get, you just get scared of them. You can make it seem legit, because it is legit, but you just twist the truth enough to make it work for you. And it's one of those things they're basically, the thing they're worrying about is absolutely laughable. A. B, no one should have to die to slow the rate of heat death in the universe. Like that is a process that is so infinitesimally long that literally his species could blink in and out of existence and it would still only be, a fart in the scheme of, the universe's lifespan. And that's like, every time I read that, I was just like, I need to shoot myself. I need to shoot myself right the fuck now. This is laughable. Okay. And I felt so bad that, like, what really pissed me off was that in the end, Madoka still had to sacrifice herself in order to basically undo the universe so that, and, basically reorder the universe so that at least these, they had all these, she basically said, fuck you, all of these magical girls are not going to have died in vain, kind of thing. I'm not going to let them live this horror. And it's like, and like the whole thing, like, it's like Homura said at the end, she's like, I think this is a shitty world. I think it's a shitty universe. Is this what she sacrificed herself for? Is this what she was trying to protect? This is a world of horrors. But I guess I have to respect that. And the amount of love they showed for each other, I could never understand why there's that gif of the two of them like rubbing up against each other from the movie. They're like snuggling up or whatever, and they're like, "This is the happiest you'll ever see them." And I'm like, and now I get it, and I'm just like, wow, it's so like unrequited love, and I feel so bad, like, Madoka says, you'll, even though I'll be physically gone, I'll still be in your heart, kind of thing. But it's like no one asked you to sacrifice yourself, and I think that's a big thing at the end that her mother gets across, is that and it's something they never really cover or never really touch on, is that no one's asking them. The only one who's asking them to sacrifice themselves is Kyuubi, and he's no one that should be talking anyway, because basically his species is too stupid to figure it out for themselves, so they're going to basically use up another species just to fucking do their dirty work. Very, very touches on World War II social issues, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. They even touch on it. You see Anne Frank in the fucking cattle car going to Auschwitz. It's like, shit, I knew they were going to touch on that.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. It just was like, oh my god. Part of the deal is the whole, I don't know how I want to put it. It's like, as a grown adult, and I use that word loosely, I look at that shit and I'm like, what kind of monstrous race demands that the, he said it himself. It's all about the fact that what is it? Not pre, but not post. It's, I guess, post-pubescent girls have the strongest emotional, I don't know what you call it. They're like the strongest emotional batteries. And so that's who they pick on. But it's like, there's a line at the end, you know, where when they're in the when Madoka and her mother are on the staircase in the storm shelter, or whatever you want to call it, the gym, I don't know. They're going back and forth about stuff, and it's like the whole deal is that no child, even by the makings of, you know, the artificing of a time traveler, should be made such a way that they're like they said, your karmatic destiny basically is that of a god. And he even shouts it when she wishes for the power to undo the damage. So what are you, trying to become a god? No, she's trying to undo the horrors you've exacted on humanity, on girls.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else, really. I mean, I felt like it was very realistic and very like true to life, but at the same time, like what I really enjoyed, what I really latched onto, was that one of the things I was really glad I saw was that basically when she changed the rules, basically, of reality, she neutered the way his race, I believe Kyuubi's a Hitty. I'm guessing probably they don't have sex, like both in the literal and in the genetic sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those, like, because she changed the rules, she completely neutered his race. It was amazing. And they even touch on that when Homer was like sitting on the crane and they're talking about the way the reality is now, and she's like, yeah, it was, you know, in this other world that, you know, I can't prove because I was the only one that, you know, remembers it. You know, it was our relationship was much rockier because, you know, it's a noble sacrifice when they no longer turn into a monster when they've used up their, you know, existence, basically. And everybody still gets a wish, but I mean, to me, the idea that they would be trying to prevent something like universal heat death is laughable. Like, if I was an adult and I was aware of this, you know, as a scientist, I would be laughing him off the planet. Just like, really, you're trying to stop universal heat death? Get out. Just go. Don't talk to me about universal heat death. Our species probably won't even be here to see it. Neither will yours. And nobody, like, the only TV show that I've ever seen even touch on the end of the universe, it just sounds really silly, like actually truly on like the end of our planet, the end of our solar system, end of our galaxy, so on and so forth, is goddamn Futurama. And that's because it's written by scientists, well, you know, very educated people. And I mean, that's all I could keep thinking. Like, I know it's stupid, it's a really like silly thing to get stuck on, but like I feel like that they haven't completed the cycle, because there's got to be a way that she doesn't have to die.
Yeah. Well, there is more to come, I suppose.
Yeah, somebody had said that, or I read somewhere, somebody was talking about they think the third movie is going to be basically the undoing of Madoka's wish.
There's a lot of speculation here and there, like maybe like sort of a weird Madoka is going to give birth to herself sort of thing.
Yeah, Avatar of God.
Yeah.
Well, I love the one where they're like, you no longer have a human form, you are simply a concept. I'm like, yeah, here's the thing, Chief, if she's truly a six or seven dimensional being, possibly 10, she has a form. In all actuality, if she's truly transcended time and space and become, you know, a force of nature, literally, I hate to tell you this, but if an actual human consciousness were to reach that level, they would basically exist as a god. and thus the idea of a corporeal body, yes, seems silly because they wouldn't have one anymore, but they could form one because they would exist on all planes of existence. Like, I mean, you want to talk about the ultimate, cheat code? According to, hundreds of years of physics, basically, if you existed as a transcendental being, you would just exist everywhere. Like, you could literally be everywhere. You wouldn't have to be, but you could be. You could exist in multiple times in multiple places. What they're saying is you exist if you're a 10-dimensional being, if you exist on all 10 dimensions of existence, you simply exist in every reality somewhere. Like, and I don't mean like a god. I mean like you exist. You are a thing that exists in that reality. And simply one of the dimensions basically just undoes the restriction of you having a time span. Your time span is infinite in both directions. So basically, they cover it in some ways, but they don't cover it correctly. And that's what really kind of like blew my mind. She's a god. Like that's the best description we have as humans for what she became. She was given godlike powers. But at the same time, and I get the idea of what they're trying to say is that, well, because of this, she couldn't technically be like born to her parents anymore. But that's hilarious because that's not how it actually works. She could still exist as Madoka Kaname, whatever. I can't ever say her first name right. Or last name, I guess, technically. Yeah. She would still exist as Madoka. She would just exist as Madoka in every reality. And those powers that she won basically would exist with her. And I love the well, this is the great sacrifice because you'll be physically required to, undo this damage every time it happens. It's like, no. If her power rewrote the laws of reality, she really doesn't have to anymore. And they just conveniently gloss over that fact. And I was like, you don't understand. If your wish actually rewrote reality so it doesn't happen, like reality actually changes and says, okay, this doesn't happen anymore, so reality changes and the universe reorders itself. That means basically, yeah, in the old reality, she was burdened with that, but not in the new reality. And that's what I thought was so lazy, because it was obvious, like, to me, it was obvious that after they did the whole, when Homura wakes up on the moon and they're like, blah, 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 see, even she becomes a witch. But because she made her wish that all witches would be destroyed, even she's can't become a witch and eventually, puffs out of existence. And when she does that, reality undoes itself. And I'm like, yes, exactly. So in the new reality, she still exists because basically she rewrote reality. So yeah, that pissed me off a little bit. It's like, it's her act of basically destroying her witch, the witch that grows from her grief seed that undoes undoes the universe. And I'm like, yes. So when that happens, she stops. It stops being the world she came from and starts being another one. Mm-hmm. It doesn't stop existing just because she did this thing in this one reality. I mean, that's they touched on it. They said like there are infinite realities, and Homura keeps going back trying to find the one that works. It's like, I mean, what I was waiting for, which I thought would have been the greatest thing ever, would have been for her to wish that there was no heat death, wish away the problem. Because it would have had the same effect, but then she wouldn't have been obliterated from existence, theoretically. So, yeah. I really enjoyed the show, but I have no compunction anymore to watch it. Like, that was good. It'll be a while before I'll want to watch it again.
Well, it'll be a while before we get any of the important new stuff, so...
We're getting the first two movie collections this summer. I think July. Mm-hmm. I'm tempted to order it. I'm not sure yet because I know it's an import, so I'm wondering if we'll eventually get an English dub of the movies.
Maybe.
I watched Valkyrie, UFO Ultra Maiden Valkyrie season 2, which was interesting as well. Not quite like Madoka, but still very like. That was just a lot of like silly fun, type. I like that anime because it's dumb, but it's like
your thought feels unfinished.
Yeah, I didn't know where I was going with that. It was like one of those like, it was just it's silly slice of life magical girlfriend type dealio.
It's a nice calming anime with not much in the way of big plot.
Yeah, pretty much. They have like they did the whole thing like, no plot, and then like the last 3 episodes, the plot just comes pouring out, and it's like, oh, okay. I think tomorrow I'm gonna restart Code Geass. I was gonna just watch season 2, but I think I'm gonna start back from the beginning and work my way through it all again. What else? I think that's all I've watched this week.
You started watching Code Geass, right?
No, I was gonna start watching it today, but I ended up having to work all day, so I'm probably gonna start it tomorrow. I mean, I have seen season 1, but after talking to my buddy, I was like, maybe I should start from the beginning. It has been a couple years since I watched season 1.
Wasn't this exciting?
Sorry, I can't think of anything else to really talk about. So yeah. Crap.
The act has no caffeine in itself, nor is not hot with control of sweet steam. Is it for boiling, strainer, and still? This is the end of part 1. Join us again in part 2. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my teapot, so brew me maybe. Continuing now with part 2.
We literally have just nothing, right? We're just both like, well, that was the big thing to talk about. Now let's sit and stare at each other for the next hour.
Well, either we go in and we talk more about Madoka,
crap,
the little shit, or we find something new to talk about.
I was listening to one of our first podcast.
Oh,
you
why?
said something because I was bored. What else?
But the internet is full of porn, and you go back and listen to one of our old episodes. Anyway, you were saying
you assume I must just masturbate continuously when I'm not at work.
No, porn isn't just for masturbation for me.
You?
What? You were saying.
Obviously, we have different definitions of what porn is used for, both in the literal and the working sense. I have to mark that one down. We may have a market that we have not tapped.
What, porn for the sake of porn?
Porn for people who like watching porn just for shits and giggles and not for, its intended purpose.
So for the kiki market?
Yes.
I'm surprised that there's a decent amount of us. Because sometimes I like to watch it just, A, to see if it's shit, or B, to, enjoy watching it, I guess, from a non-sexual position, the show of it. Or sometimes there's a good story there, especially if it's animated. Or there's a good number of adult comics out there that sometimes just happen to have sex in them.
Mr. Keeks should really, thank his lucky stars that he married you.
Bone says you should be thankful you married me.
You're damn right.
I hope the microphone picked that up.
It did. It did.
Sometimes just because you heard it, the recording didn't get it. I don't know
that's
why.
Too bad, because that was fucking amazing.
Anyway, you were gonna say before we got on this.
Yeah,
Foreign
I'm
tangent.
just like I'm just a little shocked. Just a little shocked that I wasn't aware that you watch pornography for fun.
I play a lot of pornographic games for fun as well, and some of them are just because, oh my god, must complete.
I mean, that's a little different. What I'm saying is that you watch porno flicks for fun, like that.
Yeah.
That's a new one to me. I mostly watch them to rub one out and then move on with my day.
I'm not going to say that's not their intended purpose, just not always its purpose.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna dignify that with a response. As to bitch slap somebody. In fact, I may have to bitch slap somebody anyway.
Slap Phil.
Why?
I don't know. Anyway, you were going to say about our show before we got off.
Oh,
the porn.
I wish I could remember earlier this morning when I was listening, or not this morning, I guess last night when I was listening to it. God, I wish I could go back and re-listen and remember where it was. We were talking about an anime I hadn't seen, and you're like, "Oh, I have to come back to that later," and then we just never did. And I was like, crap! I think I've actually seen it at this point. Like, it took me a year, but I finally actually saw it. I can't remember what it is, but it's been driving me crazy because that was something I was going to bring up during the show tonight, but I can't remember what it is anymore. And I thought I would remember, but after my day at work, it was like, yeah, never mind.
Well, I don't keep any sort of like tangible show notes, so I wouldn't.
No, I know.
I wouldn't know without listening.
Yeah, I know. I'm just more bemoaning that fact that, like, I should have taken a note, but I was like, I'll remember that. No, not at all. Not at all. I actually thought about after work tonight. I actually got off at a decent hour, so I thought about going to, like, 20 minutes all of the way from home. There's and try not to laugh at this, there's an actual anime shop.
Oh, neat.
And I think I've brought it up before, but
you might have.
I was kind of tempted to take a ride tonight after work and see if they had anything new or interesting in their shop. But I ended up just coming home because I was honestly tired after all day. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna come home. Then you were like, I'm going to dinner. I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna be out cold by the time you get back.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I knew that I was getting sleepier and sleepier, and there's nothing I could think of that I really wanted to do that would keep me awake. So I was just like, I'll just set an alarm. I rolled over, and I was out cold like 5 seconds. It was terrible. I'm hoping tomorrow will be a little better. That was brutal.
Well, the rest of my night after this will probably be edit this, put it up, link it out, and then log on into FF11.
Wow, I can't believe you're actually like hardcore playing Final Fantasy 11.
Yeah.
I'm just excited that tomorrow we're going to have a 72-degree day, supposedly.
A whole 72. Wow.
Yeah, not all of us can live in California where it's like, you know, an oven. It has been for a while. You have no idea. It was only supposed to get in the 60s today. It got to 71.
Oh, wow.
I was so incredibly happy coming home from work. I had and try not to laugh at this. I had gone into work this morning, or I guess actually like late this morning with a hoodie on, and when I came out, it was so warm I fucking tore it off. I threw my sunglasses on and I fucking drove home with the windows down. I was just like, this is the greatest day I have ever had. Ever. I was just so happy. It was unbelievable. I got home just like, oh god, this was like, gosh, I love it when it's like, you know, mid 70s, you know, light breeze. I'm just like, oh my god.
Let's see, for us, how hot is tomorrow supposed to get?
Probably in the 90s.
Yeah, 91, and then higher 90s after that later in the week. Yay! Not yay, but yay. What does it say the normal's supposed to be? 74. So we're well above what they consider the normal. I don't think we're going to be having much of an actual spring. It's just going to be more like summer.
It's the opposite of what we had, where we had winter till basically the end of April, and now we're just going to go right to summer. There's going to be no maybe not like full blown 90s summer, but we're gonna have like, you know, we're like we had like, you know, like in the 30s until the end of April, and then now we're just in the 70s. Let's see, what else can we talk about? I had honestly going probably forward to the next show when I'll be talking. I'm sure I'll be talking about Code Geass, because at that point, hopefully, I'll have finished all 50 some episodes. I had really meant to watch this a long time ago, but like it took me forever to actually order the back half of season 2. Well, actually, parts 2 through 4 of season 2. My buddy Nick from one of our shows back in the day, God, like last fall, is actually coming. His family's from, he and his family are from the same town, but he now lives across the city. And I think it's one of his brothers or sisters' first communion this weekend. So he's actually going to be in my part of town on Sunday. So he's probably going to stop by. And that's part of the reason why I had originally held off, was that we were going to maybe try to sit down and watch it. But then I realized like the amount of crap we would have to watch. We couldn't watch it in one night before he's got to go back home.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I'm probably just going to start tomorrow and start trying to work through it. I'm actually pretty happy. I'm making pretty good progress on the pile. Like I'm starting to see gaps in the cart where, you know, I've watched stuff. But the other problem I'm having is Funimation is killing me with these re-releases. Like I have Strike Witches Part 2 and the second half of Hellsing Ultimate, and I refuse to watch them until I get the like season 1 stuff that fits in the boxes, because I'm a completionist bastard. So they're like sitting there waiting to be watched, but I need to get that. Like I have Steins Gate Part 1, but I need Part 2. It drives me crazy. And I want to order. I'm thinking about ordering the first 2 seasons of Sailor Moon. I just realized with that clinking that there's actual silverware sitting on my desk, because I forgot that I'd had both lunch and breakfast, and actually late dinner at my desk tonight. I was going to go out for Chinese, and I ended up just coming home. I was so freaking out after all day. It was actually fairly hilarious earlier today when I was sitting talking to you at the end of the day right before my bosses went home. And they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just taking notes." Like, Kiki, what's up? I'm bored out of my mind. I was actually taking notes too, but like most of the stuff that they were talking about for next month was just stuff we already, you know.
I kind of assumed it might be like that. I mean, I'm sure you still have to like get together and talk about it, make sure everybody's on the same page, but I assume month to month it's continue to make porn.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
I'm sure there's like finite details in there and everything, but at the top is probably continue to make porn.
It's more like, how are we going to market the new porn?
How do you go about marketing porn?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like I don't even really quite understand how we still have a market with the internet, but like apparently there are people buying our products, as it were. But it's basically all about the way we set up the cover art, as far as I can tell. Which I don't even like. I hated sales to begin with, and marketing just makes me want to puke. So I leave it up to our chief marketing officer to make those decisions. I just make sure that everything gets done that they want done, and try not to hang myself in the process or put a gun in my mouth, whatever comes first.
Well, come on, Bones. Leave a pretty corpse.
Company man at the very end. The company logo will be on the wall behind me when I blow my goddamn brains out.
What is the company logo?
I'm not gonna tell you that. Go away. Suffice to say, you would know it if you saw it.
Maybe.
No, you probably would if you're an actual connoisseur as you claim to be.
I'm not like I would automatically know the company kind of connoisseur. Like maybe recognize actors, voices, similar types, or possibly even writers or something like that, if there was a writer involved, but maybe not necessarily who actually made it or put it out, with exception, of course, but my perception of things is not always good.
You reject this reality and substitute your own? Yes
I do. I have a shirt that says that.
That's all I could think of. That's literally all I could think of at the end of Madoka. It's just, I reject your reality and substitute my own. What? Are you trying to become a god? What else? I'm going to say what I'm going to watch after Code Geass. Sure. Might start up on some more Inuyasha.
Oh, you poor thing.
What? It's not that bad.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's a slow death.
Well, the main thing for me is as long as I like put a season in between like every couple shows I watch, it's not too bad. The whole deal is just not watching it all in like a row. I actually kind of wish I'd watched it earlier, like when I was. It's a great show for like homework, but I don't have homework anymore, so yeah.
I have homework.
Maybe I'll have Dairy Queen for lunch tomorrow. I haven't had them in a while. Sorry.
I should probably, make something at home.
Yeah. What the hell?
Maybe make a pork roast tomorrow for dinner.
There you go.
I should probably pull it out tonight.
I genuinely wish I didn't have to go to work tomorrow to take care of some stuff. I've been basically like working a very strange 5-day work week.
Oh wait, I'm not going to be here for dinner tomorrow. I just remembered that.
Oh.
I'm going to be over at Greaves helping her watch teenage girls and eating pizza.
Yay.
Yay. Oh God.
You sound pained by that.
I'm sure that it'll go just fine. It's just,
Tell me more.
No, that's pretty much it. It'll probably be fun and fine. It's just it also could be like the worst thing ever because they're teenagers.
I see.
And I only know one of the girls because that's the one she's actually watching, and she's having her friend over to stay the night.
Gotcha.
And apparently she told Greed to ask me to come too, so I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't know.
I like pizza.
Yeah, I like free pizza too. I just don't know what we're going to do with them.
I could insert so many porno jokes, but I won't.
Please don't. They're teenagers. They're real life teenagers at that. Not characters who happen to be teenager or anything like that.
You realize you simply quintupled the amount of jokes I could make.
I know.
Dirty, illegal porno jokes. Now, I would like to state for the record I don't condone, lack of a better word, illegal pornography, but I'll still make the jokes. I just don't actually, condone it in reality. And in fact, if I found out about it, in the line of work, I would probably be extremely pissed off because that meant somebody had fallen down on the job. I actually wonder what I would do if that came up. Probably kill someone.
Maybe.
I mean, not literally. Sorry, I guess that made it even darker. I'd probably be calling the chief legal counsel and being like, yeah, so I'm gonna need you to get us out of some trouble. What happened? We may or may not have made a porno with a 15-year-old in it. What? Don't look at me. I didn't even know about it. They came to me and told me what happened, and they were like, what do we do? And I was like, we die. I'm pretty sure we're all going to jail. We now exist as a child pornography ring. Surprisingly, it's never actually come up because we have pretty good record keeping, but, I always wonder what would happen if it ever, got through, Lawrence Fishburne and, Apocalypse Now type shit.
Yeah.
I think we'd have some protection because it would generally be somebody lying to us, and thus, if we did our due diligence, there wouldn't be any, there'd be very little trouble for us if we were under the impression that legally they were of age and they weren't. And also, the difference between a 15-year-old and, a 20-year-old is pretty obvious, actually, so it's not particularly...
I imagine that's much harder to do today, to accidentally film a minor from a big studio standpoint. From an amateur standpoint, people are fucking stupid.
From an amateur standpoint, it happens all the time. It's the entire reason why a lot of studios don't accept actual amateur work anymore. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of times when you're seeing amateur porn, quote unquote, it's
stage.
It's set up.
I would hope so.
Because of that law, what is it, 2257?
I wouldn't know them.
If you ever look at a porn site, at the bottom it'll say, like OP 2257. It's the record-keeping law that we all have to keep records of our actors and actresses to prove that they're above the age of consent. Mm-hmm. And yeah, because of that, like, old stuff doesn't have to worry about it. All new stuff has to do that. Nobody actually accepts real amateur, like actual amateur porn, because somebody has to be keeping track of the records of all the people, and you can't do that with actual amateur porn, so it doesn't actually exist as a thing anymore. Used to, big time, all the time.
Yeah. Amateurs.
Do all the 18-year-olds fresh out of high school.
Do we run out of things to talk about?
Well, you never have anything to talk about.
No, I'm so unhelpful. This will sound far less boring when I cut all this out.
I know. Well, you're basically driving me to talk. That's how this show works. So, I mean, unless I can find something interesting to talk about that, humors me, we're basically just going to sit around and stare at each other.
Yeah. Well, I know you care so much about comics and whatnot, but David S. Goyer, or how the fuck you say his last name?
He's Jewish. Moving on.
Yeah. He wrote, man.
And I mean that in the nicest way possible, too. I just...
Yeah. And he worked on The Dark Knight. Just let it blow over. If you don't validate it, they won't think anything of it. But he would like, essentially, to work on a Wonder Woman movie. And that might, if it ever happened, which it probably won't, because the universe of live action seems to hate Wonder Woman. But I think that would be great. She just does not translate well into a live-action media, though.
Does anyone even actually give a fuck about Wonder Woman? Like, truly give a fuck?
Comic fans? I'm sure, like, from a public standpoint, even though she's probably still one of the better well-known, a lot of people only know her because of old TV shows, or maybe the animated version of her. So not really.
Gotcha.
But from a standpoint of DC, she is kind of their, like, top dog chick. So
I don't know what I was gonna say. I'm now skimming through the Mary Sue looking for interesting news about movies and stuff.
There's that Studio Ghibli thing, the giant god warrior thing, the prequel to Nausicaa.
Interesting. Ooh, that's right. Pacific Rim is coming out.
Yes, it is.
Actually, we have 1 week until Iron Man 3. That'll be interesting.
I still haven't seen Iron Man 2.
Well, better get on it.
And for that matter, the Thor movie, the Avengers. Yeah.
Well,
Captain America, thank you, I forgot that one. Essentially, out of those collected franchises, I've seen the Hulk movie and the first Iron Man movie.
Honestly, the Captain America movie's not quite like the rest, unfortunately.
I would hope it wasn't.
And the Hulk movies don't technically exist in the same universe as the current Marvel or it was actually the current Marvel movies. Like, they've said that they're never going to make another Hulk movie in the current universe because he just doesn't translate well as a main character. He has to be a side character. I'm like, yeah, so put him in the next, Iron Man.
Mm-hmm. It's just him hanging out at Stark Towers, doing science shit. We occasionally get angry at something.
What's going on here now? Oh wow, crazy. Yeah, I'm excited for movies this summer. I'm curious. My movie buddy friend, I wonder if she's gonna want to catch Iron Man, the new Iron Man, I should say. What? Kiki's Delivery Service is getting a live action movie?
Yeah,
I call shenanigans.
based more on the I want to say books.
Gotcha.
So not so much like they're remaking the movie. No, someone's just taking the original material and making a live action version of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm still excited. I'm really excited for Up on Poppy Hill to come out on DVD/Blu-ray.
And then I will finally be able to see it.
You can still see it right now. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be hard to find it. I didn't know the Teen Titans were back on TV.
Yeah, Teen Titans Go.
Oh my god, that's kind of adorable.
Didn't I link you the image?
I thought it was fan art. I didn't realize it was an actual TV show.
I'm
oh my
sorry.
god.
It's a TV show. They brought it back from the shorts that played on DC Nation, which is a block of shorts on Cartoon Network. But yeah, it's kind of why we lost Young Justice.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Teen Titans is the best, Young Justice type show.
I mean, I would say I like the show, but I didn't watch it often enough, so if anything, I helped get it off the air.
I mean, that's the biggest problem is that, children's television has a very short shelf life before it starts getting bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what happened to My Little Pony, is, it just kind of, the first season was epic, second season was pretty cool, and then the third season was just kind of okay. I actually only watched, the first, I think, half of season 3, and I was just yeah, okay, whatever. I just kind of wandered off.
This is the end of part 2. Join us again in part 3. There are more teas in heaven and earth for ratio that are brewed in your kettle. You are now listening to part 3.
I felt kind of bad about that, but it was just just didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm still sad they canceled Futurama again.
Yes, they did.
I need to get season 7.
I was actively watching it.
I mean, truly, they have a point. It hasn't been, super funny in a long time. The old stuff was for me the funniest, but it's okay. It's been nice getting new episodes. I don't like it like I used to. I used to love it. I'd watch it every night, and yeah, it's just. I still like it, but not. And I'm still buying the what's what I'm looking for, the DVDs and whatnot, but it's not something I actively go after. I'm actually more interested in that. They did that My Little Pony as if they were humans. They have that show coming out. That'll be interesting to see what they do with that. That's obviously a ploy to get, what's what I'm looking for, Barbie dolls.
Yeah.
I'm still in love with the fact that everybody portrays Twilight Sparkle as black. I'm totally cool with that. I have no problem with it whatsoever, but I think it's funny that she's the one black character.
Mm-hmm. I would go into how it kind of makes sense, but I feel like it would come off racist.
That's the problem. How do you say nicely? You're yeah, it totally makes sense that she's black. How's that work?
And it's not from a characterization standpoint. It's from an actual their body fur skin tone. Hers is technically the darkest.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that if you were to portray them, but I suppose that would also mean that she wouldn't necessarily be black. She would just be of the darker range.
Well, I mean, I guess she's not black. She's just got darker skin, but it's they make all the other characters white. So she's the black girl.
Yeah, which feels a bit tokening, I guess. But I like a lot of the designs they give. I think the color matching really works with the hair. Because they tend to keep the hair color, obviously, and I like the contrast between the skin and the hair.
Yeah.
Although I suppose it's a good thing that Fluttershy is not Asian. because she's yellow.
That would have been silly.
Although I do like darker skinned women with pink hair too.
Well, strange hair colors on women is just fun in general.
I'm looking forward to The Great Gatsby.
Yeah, that looks crazy.
It's gonna be in 3D, so when I go and watch it not in 3D, there's probably gonna be a couple scenes where I'm like pulled out of it because it was obviously meant for 3D. But other than that, it's probably gonna be great.
Yes. What were we talking about again?
Gatsby.
Ah, yes, Gatsby.
It has a good cast.
I didn't realize they were doing it in 3D. That's kind of crazy.
Well, even if it, makes no sense, it's going to come out in 3D. Some people use it great, and then other people, it's just there.
Indeed. Yeah, I don't think that's one of those movies where I'm like, I have to see it in 3D. I'd be like, yeah, I think I'd rather skip.
No, in a beautiful world, I imagine they would use the 3D effects to, enhance the environment.
Yes.
But the other half is, it's probably not exactly how it's going to go. So I just probably won't see it in 3D because it's cheaper not to. Anyway.
Good stuff.
I'm also not so much excited, but interested in seeing the Carrie remake.
Yeah, it might be alright. I'm not much for horror movies, but...
I don't think it will be terrible. It's just not, on my list of, must see, because Carrie was never, bullshit for me or anything.
Really, what I'm pissed off about is that they haven't done another season release of Adventure Time, because I really enjoyed the season 1.
They've only released season 1?
Yeah, they've done season 1. They haven't done season, the other, 4 or 5 seasons yet.
How many seasons of Adventure Time are there? Oh, it started back in 2010, so 5 seasons?
Sounds right.
Yes, but the 6th season has been announced, okay. I keep meaning to get into this, but, apparently I'm not trying that hard.
Indeed. I'm trying to think of... I don't know, weird cartoons are kind of what get me through the day these days.
Well, I really enjoy Gravity Falls, but I still haven't managed to watch it in, any sort of proper order. It's just random ass episode I happen to catch.
Yeah, I have the same problem. I've watched, 4 or 5 episodes, spaced out, but not enough to actually put anything together.
Mm-hmm. I get sort of what's going on, but there's also, I can feel like there's this plot in the background that I'm not quite getting.
And the way Moss talked about it a couple days ago, I was like, oh crap, I apparently missed something major. So yeah, that's on my list of stuff to watch. Not particularly high on the list, unfortunately, for Moss, but it is on my list.
I don't care about the 300 sequel.
I can't believe they can even make a sequel.
Mm-hmm. Nor do I care about Wolverine.
You will care. You will.
No, you can't make me. Give me a fucking Deadpool movie. And then don't make it shit.
Joss Whedon is not going to try and match the box office success of the first Avengers movie with its sequel. Yeah, okay, whatever. Suck my dick. I always love it when directors are like, I'm not even going to try to match the success that the first movie was. Yeah, except that if it's anything like the first movie, you'll do twice as much money. Prove me wrong.
What the hell is the seventh son? Apparently, he is the seventh son of the seventh son.
What now?
There's a movie called The Seventh Son that I didn't know was going to exist, and no idea if it's based on anything.
I enjoyed your husband going, and so he'll never die. That was just so perfect. I don't even know why.
Well, the seventh son of the seventh son is commonly a, this person will be of magic sort of thing.
Oh, I never heard that before. Good to know.
It plays heavily, well, not heavily, but it depends on what story they're talking about, but in a lot of more classical fantasy, and occasionally in Discworld, although what you really want to worry about is the eighth son, because 8 is a bad thing.
Aha.
Even after the god that was associated with it was killed, some 8 themes are still bad. The seventh son of the seventh son will be a wizard, but it's either the eighth son or the eighth son, or his eighth son, or something like that. That would be a sorcerer, and that's a bad thing. There's a whole book about it. Moving on. Read more, internet.
Indeed. I feel like I should totally get this, but yeah, whatever, okay.
See, I'm obviously excited for the new Star Trek movie, but that's a given.
Who isn't? It's gonna be a blockbuster, so.
I'm just looking at the coming soon list. They're making a second Grown Ups movie?
What was the first Grown Ups movie?
The Adam Sandler, Chris Rock.
Oh, that was an okay movie. Yeah, let them do it, whatever. I'm sure it'll be okay.
That's right, they're making a second Red movie. That might be good.
I'm still constantly amazed by all these stories of cosplayers being treated like a piece of meat, and I'm like, when did we as a society decide that was acceptable behavior?
I'm not quite sure.
Like that's.
I'm sure
I
it can
hearing
do
about that. Like,
yeah, I'm sure it can do some digging and get all profound on this shit. But yes, we're very much it's the victim's fault sort of culture.
Well, it's not even that. Like, I'm reading about this stuff while I'm listening to you talk about movies, and like, people, like the people who are instigating it are surprised when male or female, person having it instigated on them is like, you're a sick fuck. And they're like, what? It's all good fun. No, it's really not. Like, I don't know if it's just because of, like, what I do that I'm just like, okay.
So, lovely little comic about respect, I guess.
Jesus, titty fucking Christ.
That's an interesting image. Jesus, titty fucking Christ.
Sorry, I have an interesting vernacular. I used to feel the way that these people are talking to this woman. You're fat, well, like, you shouldn't cosplay someone that you can't pull off. And I'm just sort of like, I grew up and I kind of realized it's like, you know what? It's not about that. It's about having fun. It's about liking a character. It's about liking a series. It's about liking a book, a story, or whatever.
Yeah.
And the fact that people can be so cruel to other humans just blows my motherfucking mind. That you can look somebody in the face and say that to them. It's just like unbelievable to me. I don't know if it's because I'm old and I'm angry or what, but it's just, people are monsters. If you're good looking and you do a cosplay, it's sexy or whatever, then you get treated like a piece of meat. If you're not, if you're just an average human being, you're not in the best shape, and you do a cosplay, it's, you're fat and you don't deserve to live. And it's like, how can you say that to somebody? It's like, how would you feel if people talk to you like that? Random strangers like, oh, yeah, how you doing, ugly? It's fucking cruel. Mm-hmm. Sorry, whatever. I'll go crawl in a hole. But yeah, I mean, basically it just comes back to every time I read shit like that, I'm just like, wow, people are fucking idiots. Surprise. It's kind of interesting in a sense that I spent so much time around people that I, dislike, that I have a hard time even, like, going out in public because I just want to smack everyone.
I think your hand would get tired.
Well, that's why you have the automated smacking machine. I don't know. It's just like, it's like my friends are all like, you're not going to this big convention? No, because I don't like people. I don't enjoy conventions because I don't like people anymore. I like to go home and, sit in quiet, whatever, reflection and, chill out, not go to a giant party and watch a bunch of people get drunk and do stupid shit. Like, I mean, I'm sure they're all having fun, but I wouldn't be, so I'm not going to waste the money. What?
I'm laughing at something none of you can see, but hubby had to get up. So he got up and tried to quietly sneak over to the door. And just the look on his face while he was attempting to do it, because he's trying very hard not to, make noise unless I,
interact with him.
Yeah.
I would tell him not to be worried about it because I think it adds a lot of character to our podcast.
Anyway, that was me laughing at my husband, Internet.
It's all good in the hood.
But someone who went to parties in her youth, I was doing shit and like enjoying time, but the other half of the time was like I felt like no one actually wanted to be there and felt like they were there because it's what you do.
Interesting.
Like the perceived cultural norm against what you actually want to be doing. You're doing it more because you think you're supposed to be doing it and less because you want to.
Gotcha.
I'm sure that wasn't how it was for a lot of them, or a few of them. It's just, kind of the feeling I got. And how I'm not really a fan of, like, giant-ass parties anyway.
I was always way too busy to do, like, parties, like, during high school. And by the time I got to the point where it would actually be something I would be doing, I just had no interest, like, none at all.
I suppose it depends on more how the party is structured, I guess. If it's your traditional, everybody is sort of in the same house, not necessarily doing much of anything unless it involves drinking, then yeah, that in my book is actually quite a shit party. Because you know what? I can stand around and drink at home. And I have the benefit of not having to stand.
Indeed.
But, say going to maybe a decently sized party to socialize with people you don't get to see often, or play maybe non-drinking related games, or even a drinking game, depending on what it is. Not necessarily for the sake of just drinking, but because it's fun. That seems like a better thing to do, or even a small party where you're just hanging out with some friends, doing some fun shit. Like how we have a Monopoly board that has a hole in the middle so it can fit on the table in the back patio around the umbrella. Itchy leg.
The legs, they're so itchy.
Yes, they are.
Itchy, scratchy, itchy, scratchy.
Let's see. I gotta get Moss to actually come on here one of these days so we can talk about Doctor Who.
Indeed.
And you can, sit back and make comments on something you've never watched.
That's what I'll be doing. Basically, just wake me up when you're done.
Are you guys gonna kill the whale guy? 6? Ah.
What now?
I was asking him an FF11 related question.
Oh, I see.
They're killing a specific... Is he an NM?
Yeah, a boardwalk.
It's a monster that's essentially a giant floating whale. But there's a point behind killing it other than just, hey, it's there. And I was asking how many times he had to do it.
He had to do it 9 times. 8 times too many.
Let's see, there's nothing really going on Tumblr. I feel like that should be in a museum to get all Indiana Jones and whatnot. Oh damn, why am I linking from Fox News? Why did you send me to Fox News, Google News?
Good stuff. Don't care.
Come on, you don't care about the fossilized elephant bird egg? Something really interesting in the news that we would talk about.
The bigger problem is that my sphere of interest is strange, to say the least.
Well, I don't know. What anime should I start watching next?
I don't know. Do you have any in mind, or?
I have a giant cube with Crunchyroll.
Yes, you do.
Although some of it's stuff I've already seen before. Well, I actually haven't finished the My Little Sister one, so I should probably finish that first.
You could try. You could try. I'm just not sure what to watch after Code Geass.
What do you got on your rack?
Everything. I have everything on the rack.
That is a big rack.
I don't know. I'm thinking either Mezzo, like maybe Mezzo. I might watch Armored Troopers Votoms. I don't know. I started watching that last fall, and it's like 70 some episodes, but it's all in Japanese, so it's like, and it's from like the 70s, so it's like super hard to get through. I mean, it's very interesting, but it's like what would Gundam be like if it was like set in a realistic, like, you know, universe.
Mm-hmm.
So the robots are like powered suits basically, and yeah, it was pretty good. I got to the first, like, I think 2 discs, but then I don't know, I just kind of like ran out of steam and never picked it up again, and I'd like to get that out of the rack. Obviously Inuyasha. I need to watch Shaku no Shana so that I can buy season 3. I need to get a certain scientific railgun, because I've absolutely loved a certain magical index. Like, a lot of people I talked to were like really mad about it, but I really liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. Kiki has no opinion whatsoever.
Sorry,
okay.
Kiki was yawning.
You could watch Tsubasa Chronicles Season 2. What else is over there? I had the first season of Gunslinger Girls, I want to say.
Gunslinger Girls is really good, so I'd kind of recommend that.
Yeah, I've watched like the first couple episodes at my buddy's house, but I actually picked it up one day from half price because it was like super cheap, like $10 or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to get like the OVA in the second season so that I can watch it all, because I'm one of those people, like, I don't start watching something until I have it all, so I'm not like, I don't get like stuck halfway through and then have to wait. I know that probably sounds silly.
No, it doesn't. That's one of the reasons that there's certain shows that I'm not watching, because I want there to be more of it when I do get around to it. My current watching habits, though, seem to be more like at least slice of life stuff.
I actually like slice of life a lot. I have a hard time finding slice of life shows that I like a lot, but like when I find ones I like, they're great.
So maybe I'll watch like my teen romantic comedy or something afterwards, or I know there's a lot more on here. I just can't think of them all. What's the name of the one I wanted to watch? Yu Yu Shiki, I'm gonna say? I might be saying it wrong. And Yoro Yui. I actually have no idea what that show's about, but I keep seeing like the most adorable gifs on the internet about it, so I must watch it.
Yoro Yui?
Yoro Yuri?
I think you should link me. So I wonder if it's one of the ones I've... Let's take a look. God damn it, they should have search for Google as a context menu on everything. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. It got a release, but it was like really silly.
I suppose I can.
Or maybe
do it.
not.
Right?
I thought that got an American release. I swear I've seen that. Let's see here. Apparently not. No. Huh. Interesting. No, it never did get an English release. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. Genuinely. I still want, was it Nikonjo or whatever we talked about last week? I need to actually start watching that at some point in the near future, because I watched like one episode of it and I was like, this is actually really good.
My Ordinary Life?
Yeah.
I think that's what he's talking about, but he may be butchering a different title, because it sounds kind of like something else too.
I can never say that title right.
I'm not even sure I'm saying it right, so let's just go with My Ordinary Life.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember what the Americanized title was, but I've watched. I saw a whole bunch of like GIFs on the internet of it, and I was like, that looks really interesting. And then I like watched the first episode. And I'm like, this is a really good show. Why does this not have an English release?
I don't know. I don't feel like a lot would be lost in a dubbing process, but maybe because there's no one who would show it on TV, so there's no reason to dub it.
Well, obviously they just need to let Funimation license it. They don't give a fuck about anything. They do English dubs anyway. Like, fuck that shit.
They were licensed by Bandai, but then canceled.
Mm-hmm.
It was licensed in Australia for at least distribution by Madman, whatever that is.
So here's a question that's been on my mind for a while. Not particularly related to that, but just I was just thinking about it when we were talking more about anime. Why the heck are anime figurines such a what's what I'm looking for? Like a popular thing to collect?
Okay. I have an answer, but the words escaped me. At least from my standpoint, because sometimes there's figurines from crap I've never seen or watched, and I'm like, oh, that's cute, or oh, that would look nifty here. Kind of like I'm sure there's a collector's reason, and there's also a fandom reason. You want to own shit from something you like. But in the end, it's a knick-knack.
Yeah.
We like stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because I was just like, I mean, I'm always of the opinion that, like, you know, well, not really opinion, but like, I can't imagine spending like that kind of money on a plastic figure. Like, it just doesn't. Like maybe one or two, or maybe, you know, like half a dozen, but like.
Mm-hmm. There are like a couple figurines. Like, if I had all the money in the world, sure, I'd own it, but otherwise, probably not. Although there is a licensed Game of Thrones calendar on our wall. And we have giant licensed Game of Thrones maps that are not on our walls.
To be fair, their Song of Ice and Fire. You just get that straight as on the TV show.
I'm sure the internet understands what I mean.
The internet has no clue what you're talking about, but we'll just shake our heads and move on.
This is the end of part 3. Join us again in part 4, my darling. How do you take your tea? Milk or lemon? Sugar? Continuing now with part 4.
Best question ever placed. If you were locked in the room you are in right now with a zombie and you couldn't leave until the zombie was dead, using only the resources in the room right now, how would you kill it before it kills you?
Well, I have like a collection of canes, so I imagine there would be some head bludgeoning. They're in this room, so I think I'd be alright.
I think the correct answer is the steel baseball bat right next to me under the desk. If not that, the shotgun stored underneath my bed.
I don't have it under the bed, nor do I have a shotgun.
Well, we've all finally come to the conclusion that you don't actually sleep. You simply lay down for a while and then come back.
Isn't that what sleep is?
Yes, but you never actually say, I'm going to go to sleep. You're like, I'm going to go lay down, and then like a few hours later, you're back. Everybody's like, does she actually sleep?
It's kind of implied. And some days I do more sleep than anything else, and other days I do.
Kiki, we've been keeping track.
Much.
You haven't slept for more than 3 hours in about a month and a half.
That's so not true. Considering there was a day recently where I slept through most of it because I was horrifically ill.
I like the term horrifically ill. Like, you're so ill that when somebody walks in the room, they're just like, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my. It's like seeing a fucking grisly murder scene. It's gonna sound really sad, but like 2 minutes from my work, they're opening a Little Caesars pizza, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, you were talking about that last time. How you were so excited.
I'm still super excited.
And I told you how our local one really sucks.
Yeah.
But it's alright because there's a local pizza kind of awesome, comparatively at least.
My whole problem has always been I can't find anybody that can give me at least edible pizza for $5. I should reiterate that I really do not like frozen pizza.
I haven't had. No, wait, we got one from Walmart, but I don't remember how long ago it was. And I remember it was alright, but like, I could have easily just, gotten a pizza as well for.
I see.
But how long ago was it that we got that frozen pizza from Walmart? It wasn't? Oh. Was it just cold? Okay. Then I haven't had, proper frozen pizza in quite a while. There's a Papa John's in town, and a Pizza Hut, and... Not Papa John's. Oh my god, I just did the same... Papa Murphy's.
Oh god, fuck Papa Murphy's.
Oh, I love our local Papa Murphy's and pizza.
The one by our house is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have a Papa John's, but it closed.
I'm not even sure I've ever eaten at Papa John's.
It's not great pizza.
And we don't have a Pizza Hut anymore, but we still have Pizza Guys. And then there's Master Pizza and...
Let me think if I can think of the pizza places in my town. There's Pizza Man. There's Carboni's Pizza. There's Domino's. There's Pizza Hut. Papa Murphy's. There used to be a Papa John's. They went out of business. There's the Grand Pizzeria. There is... I think there might be one or two. I live in a tourist town, so I think downtown on Main Street there might be a couple super trendy, expensive, take your girlfriend on a date pizzerias, like the Brick and a couple other ones. We have seriously over half dozen, probably close to a dozen pizzerias in a 5 square mile radius. It's kind of disgusting.
Let's see.
Somebody
I don't know if we still have a Steve's Pizza. It was on Main Street, but is it still there?
$5 pizza.
There's Pizza Guys. I think Rico's Pizza's still around. The Domino's, Little Caesars, Pizza Guys, Papa Murphy's. We have 2 Little Caesars. Do we still have a Round Table?
At least one.
Yeah, and then we have a bunch of little independent ones like Picasso's and Biggies.
Yes. Gotcha.
And yeah.
I think so far my favorite chain in our area has been a place called Toppers. That's actually Toppers. It's actually not bad. I would kill. What drives me crazy is despite the fact that I live in a tourist town, there's no delivery places, period. Everybody's carry out only. Except for the big chains like Domino's and Pizza Hut. I would seriously pay our local Chinese place $5 to deliver me Chinese food.
I don't think we have any delivery Chinese food places.
It's strictly a urban thing, in the actual cities.
We might, but I'm not sure. Do that? Yeah, so other than pizza, I'm not 100% sure what you can get delivered.
Jimmy John's delivers sandwiches. That's a new thing, though.
There's a lot of restaurants around here, but I'm not 100% sure who delivers, who doesn't, and what's actually still open and what's not. Because a lot of things, there may still be a restaurant in that building, but it might be called something else now.
Well, that's interesting.
There for a while, there was this building, I think it changed again. It's always some sort of Chinese or Vietnamese style restaurant, but I swear the name changes a lot.
Well, yeah, because nobody's, actually probably done the work to make, decent food that, people actually want to eat.
There are some decent Chinese food places here, but I haven't, gone to all of them, so I don't know.
Well, there's your goal. Go to all the Chinese places locally and let me know which one is the best.
Go to Golden Dragon if you want sit-down food. If you want takeout, go to the, whatever it's called, the Little Noodle House. There.
See? You do know what's worth going to.
If you want buffet, go to the Shmorgy, but lower your expectations.
That is one of the better lines I've ever heard. And then if you want buffet, go to the Shmorgy, but lower your goddamn expectations.
It's not so bad that I wouldn't recommend people go there, but it's not top quality. There was another Chinese buffet, but it went out of business. It's a Mexican place now.
I was really tempted to get Taco Bell tonight after work, but I was like, I better not. I actually really like Mexican food, but none of my family does.
We ended up going out to Denny's, so...
Denny's is good. A lot of food, but it's good.
Well, we have 3 in town, so we used to have...
Wow. That's a little
crazy. You in town now? Aww.
I've never had 4.
Was it 3 and we went to 2? Either way. Well, we're right off. We're like a freeway stop.
Oh, gotcha.
We're like a mixture of an actual, residential town / place you go to if you need something off the freeway. So
that's a little crazy.
There's the one in town that's still technically off the freeway, kind of. And then the one on the outskirts of town. Well, if you're going to the capital, Sac, but you want, cheaper stuff, you come to us.
Yeah, the nearest one is, I have to go, not a real long distance, but I have to go, probably a good 20-minute car drive to get to the nearest one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not true. There's one by my work, probably 2 or 3 minute drive. But the other one in Minnesota is it's right off the freeway over by where I used to live, closer in the cities. And it's all right, but it's I have a lot of interesting restaurants, but nothing I like to hit on a regular basis. I end up going to the cheap, shitty places more often than not. You do that too?
Mm-hmm.
I told myself I was going to swear off McDonald's, but it's just so goddamn cheap. It's hard to say no.
Okay, I don't eat a lot of McDonald's, but yeah.
Well, my problem is the McDonald's. If I go the other way from coming home from work, the way I normally go takes me through the back way, but I end up coming into my neighborhood directly and skipping the entire what I like to call the strip where the highway comes through our town. And if I go the other way, go the regular way, I end up going right by McDonald's, Taco Bell, Subway, Pizza Hut, the Chinese place, our local Chinese place I like that's actually good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that's where I eat the most often because when I'm coming home I'm I'm looking for the fastest way to grab something and go home. I'm one of those people I don't eat at the restaurant. I grab the food and come the hell home and then basically burrow into my office in the basement and sit there and chow down.
Well, a lot of our restaurants are the sort you go to sit down at.
Gotcha. We have tons of those. I just don't.
There are a lot of restaurants in town that I've never been to, so.
Because they're like that?
They're like that, or I, only vaguely know of their existence.
Oh, gotcha.
Or, it's like, oh, it's that place on Main Street. Which place on Main Street? And I don't really want to go to Main Street for food. That's fucking annoying.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, our 5-star restaurants are on Main Street for the tourists, and, like, nobody who lives in this town actually goes to them.
I don't want to end up going somewhere, buying food and then hating the fact that I went there and spent money. When I know I can go to this other place and at least get something that I will enjoy. There's a lot of, like, little bistros that sprung up on Main Street recently that I just don't want to go to.
Yeah, I don't think I've been to the vast majority of, like, sit-down restaurants in our town. That's also probably because I'm cheap as shit. I'm really, really cheap. Actually, I will be right back. I apologize. I have got to piss.
Well, hurry up.
I've been holding it in since we started, and
Dumbass, you should have gone to the bathroom.
Well, I didn't have to go until we started talking, and then I was like,
What are you doing now? I have no idea where you are.
I'm about to go play Shinryu.
Shinryu? Oh, that's good to know. The Google Street View is updated. It's the new chase bank that I'm not sure why we need.
oh, God, sorry about that. Whew. That was fun. I haven't pissed like that in a while. I can actually feel my bladder deflating.
I don't know why, but I'm looking at my town in Google Street View.
And what have you learned?
That the images have updated since the last time I've done it. So what used to be a toy store is apparently now a print shop.
Hooray! Well, to be fair, really toy shops don't have a place in modern society, unfortunately.
It's less that, it's gone, and more the fact that I never went in there. And it was there the entirety of my childhood, and I never went in. It had, like, really nifty outdoor sign, and it looked fun, but I never bothered to go in. No, I'll never know its wonders. Oh, well.
It's kind of like, oh God, what was the other one? I used to think there used to be like 2 or 3 major chains of toy stores, and now there's just Toys R Us, which is actually owned by FAO Schwarz, which I think is the only major toy company left in America.
It might be, because I can't think of anything else.
I've just been more interested by, like, how companies have, like, I remember for a long time, like, Kohl's sold video games, and then, like, they just randomly got out of it.
Well, sometimes it amazes me that, like, GameStop can still exist.
What now?
I said sometimes it amazes me that stores like GameStop can still exist.
Well, their whole deal is basically buying games for very little money and then reselling them for quite a bit more. That's where the whole deal with the the one-off uses for games, like the activation codes and shit, is coming from. It's basically the gaming industry is trying to kill them off, and it's probably not going to happen, but it's just absolutely hilarious. Yeah, I'm probably in the next week or so gonna pre-order that the Animal Crossing
3DS.
DS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bastard.
What?
I want the Animal Crossing one.
I was gonna get the Pikachu one, but that was out of stock everywhere when I went to look for it a week after it came out. So I'm gonna pre-order this one to make sure I actually get it.
Yeah. Well, I have a 3DS, so I suppose I can't complain about the fact that it doesn't have the case I want, I guess.
Doesn't look like a Pop-Tart.
Yes, it doesn't look like a Pop-Tart.
That's what my friends all complain. They're like, I would get it, but it looks like a Pop-Tart. I'm like, I think it looks cool.
I want it to look like a Pop-Tart.
I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just old or something. I thought it looked cool the first time I saw it. I'm like, damn, I want one of those. Plus, I mean, it's like for $20 more, you get the new Animal Crossing game with it. So it's it's a good deal.
Was the only reason I want it to be June now, so I can play it, because I already pre-ordered it. Gimme.
No, that's pretty much my whole thing too. I don't want it to be June because it means I'll have to start paying on my loans. But
Oh.
I do.
Poor Bones.
It's all right. I'm gonna have to, like, the next month or so, I'm gonna have to get that all figured out, because the way it's looking right now, there's no way I can pay them the way they are. It's like they want like $600 a month, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't have that kind of money.
Jeez. $600 a month?
Yeah. I owe money to 4 different banks because of the way they did loans back in the day.
Oh.
And so each bank only wants like $150 a month, but there's 4 of them, so I'm probably gonna look into consolidating my loans, and then like I'll have to pay like $260 a month, but it'll be much more reasonable. Plus, I would much rather be paying it to the Department of Education than like Bank of America.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I'm not like super worried about it. It just sucks because like half like the final half of my loans are off through the Department of Education. They've been like, you know, contacting me and calling me and emailing me and like helping me like work it out so that I can pay it back. Which, I mean, like I've told every one of my lenders, I'm like, I have every intention of paying you back, but this is ridiculous. Like, I get that, you know, you guys switched on a yearly basis. Who was sorry, excuse me, sorry, who was like guaranteeing my, you know, who was paying or lending me the money for my loans, but like this is crazy. Like there has to be a way to consolidate this down to one person. And then the Department of Education was like, well, we have a deal where you can, you know, if you have like Stafford loans, you can consolidate them all to just us and then just pay us the money, and you'll have to pay a little higher interest and, you know, whatnot, but I'll end up having to pay more money in the long run, but it means I won't have to deal with like 4 different banks, basically. Like I get like technically it's probably not a great idea because I will end up paying more money in like the long run, like over 20 years or whatever. But it's like I don't know. That's just.
I wasn't huffing at you. You're fine, hon.
What the hell are you guys doing?
He's moving in his chair and he feels bad about it.
I don't know why. I think it's hilarious.
Aww. At least until they take new pictures, we will forever be able to see our old car. And I guess not forever. On Google Street View. It was on the street when they took the picture.
And the pile of green waste, so.
Yeah.
What's in the driveway?
The green thing?
Is that all the car in the driveway?
No.
But my car is.
Yep. I don't know when these were taken. So.
Was it just a couple of weeks ago? You see duct tape on the window of the driver's side?
No, the image date says May of 2012, so the car may have been working.
Huh.
Yes, reliving life through Google Street View.
Yeah, don't remind me. You can see my car before it got all shitified on our current Street View.
You should probably find something more to talk about other than my voyeurism on Google Street View.
Yes, you're such a voyeur.
We are sort of over 2 hours.
Woot woot.
We've also not said anything for a little while, so maybe we should call it.
If you want. I don't know, I'm looking for stuff to talk about, but it's like, you know.
Well, you keep looking then.
You're welcome to call it any time. I'm just, you know, looking for stuff to talk about.
Let's see. I didn't see anything all that interesting anime news-wise.
I just realized it's my best friend from high school's birthday. Oh crap. It's your birthday!
Happy birthday, person!
Yay! I'm probably gonna go. He runs a pizza place on the other side, like middle of the city. So I'm probably gonna go see him on Sunday. Because he wants me to. Well, I've been wanting to try his pizza, but also.
Give me your pizza!
He's probably just gonna give me a pizza. I'm like, I'll pay you for the pizza. He's like, I'll just give you a pizza. I'm like, I'll pay for the pizza. He's like, I'll just give you the pizza. I'm like, I'll pay for the goddamn pizza. Shut the fuck up.
All this pizza talk has made me want pizza.
You should get a pizza.
It's a bit late, isn't it?
It's only, what, like 11 by you? I don't know, it'd be midnight.
Yeah. I'm not even sure what's open to deliver, if anything. Also, I already ate, so...
Have another pizza. There's always room for pizza.
Just like there's always room for fries.
Oh god, there's always room for fries. Dude, I'm hungry right now too, you bastard. Although, like, I don't really know what I would have, but I'm sure I'll think of something eventually.
For shits and giggles, apparently, I was looking at the Sentai Filmworks catalog.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see Maria Holic, but I haven't gotten around to it.
What now?
Maria Holic.
The hell is that?
Let me link you.
I have their like their catalog, whatever, here. Let's see.
Also wanted to see the anime version of Maid Sama. Yeah. Mongos.
Oh, that show. Yeah. That's weird. That doesn't show up in their Sentai Filmworks. I'm looking at the highlighted series. I have to click there for the full catalog.
Ah.
There we go. Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's a whole ton of stuff that they've brought out. Like, that's this. Yeah. Sentai is interesting like that. They have all this like stuff now that they're not doing like English dubs. There's all this stuff that's just like they're bringing stuff over like directly.
Mm-hmm.
You can subtitle if you have like the right crew of guys. Like 5 guys can subtitle an entire show very quickly.
Mm-hmm. A lot less overhead.
Plus now the studios are sending over the scripts.
Mm.
And since people read Japanese, they just translate it into English and then, throw it up, as it were.
Samurai.
Actually, the only thing I really want from them right now that they have in English that I don't have yet is Clannad.
Let's see. What does Aniplex have?
Goddamn Aniplex.
A lot of stuff I watch, apparently.
They have a new streaming like channel dealio coming out.
Well, a lot of the stuff through Crunchyroll is through them, and they fucking let you know. Compared to all the other licensors, the little thing in the bottom right-hand corner is fucking huge.
Oh, that's right. I still need to get the Gurren Lagann movies from them. I forgot that they bought the rights to release the TV series. Except that it's like ridiculously expensive. Holy fuck, is that expensive?
How expensive are we talking?
$140 for the DVDs.
Holy fuck. It's not even that long of a show, right? I don't remember how long it is.
27 episodes. Yeah. I already own it, so I'm not like particularly worried, but it's actually a nice box set.
Let's see, 27 episodes and an unaired episode 6. 2 original soundtracks, Japanese and English audio, subtitles, and special materials.
What you need to look at is the Blu-ray box set that's coming out in June.
Oh, I want an illustration book. Holy fuck.
Did you see the price?
Holy fuck. Sale price, $549.98.
Yeah, these guys are nuts, yo.
Bonus content does not include English subtitles?
Yeah, because it's imported.
Fuck that.
That's if you look at the Madoka movie stuff, that's the same deal. They have subtitles on the actual movies, but not on the act. That's part of the reason why I'm like maybe I should hold off because it might get an actual official like English release later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I'll regret it later, but at the same time, it's like I just can't imagine really Wonder how much they want for rah rah rah. My friends rented and raved about how great it was, and I was like, well, you know, $42. That's not as bad. Their Madoka Magica releases were just ridiculously expensive. Read or Die, the Blu-ray set. God, I'm so glad I bought that on DVD. I really haven't felt a need to buy anything on Blu-ray, like specifically. I mean, it does look better, but it's just not worth the extra money. I wonder how much for, what is that, Bakemonogatari?
I'm not going to attempt to help you to say that right, because I'm probably wrong, too.
So that's $150. It's not too bad. It's all on Blu-ray, though, which I'm not a huge fan of. Mostly because I don't own an actual, like, Blu-ray player for the TV. And I'm too cheap to buy the actual software that lets you... Don't care. Deletes. I do want to get this one. I think it's the one you're watching right now, Oremo. I think it's the English title is My Sister Can't Possibly Be This Something or Other.
It's cute or something like that.
It's $45 for the DVDs. Apparently the Blu-rays are coming out or have come out. But I'm not paying $280. Fuck that.
Holy fuck.
They're importing them from Japan, and I'm just
I know.
I can't justify that kind of price. That's just ridiculous. It's like when they had the Garden of Sinners Blu-ray set that was $600. I was like, yeah, no. That's the one thing, for whatever reason, like, I guess Aniplex is actually getting some business, because, like, I couldn't believe that they're actually getting people to buy this stuff. Like, I can't believe there are actual people who are willing to spend that kind of money.
Is Wolf Children, like, playing at theaters at all in, like, America, or seeing a DVD release or something?
Well, I'm sure we'll see a DVD release probably from Funimation, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Funimation has the license.
Yeah, so I would say probably another year you'll see it. You'll see it out. I mean, I'm sad that, like, we don't see more big anime films getting actual theatrical releases, because, like, I actually really enjoyed going to. I mean, we had to drive a little ways, but we were able to go see Poppy Hill, and that was awesome to see in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
My friend didn't like it, but I loved it. I thought it was great. Then again, I like Ghibli films in general. They're fun to watch.
This is the end of part 4. Please continue listening with part 5. My kingdom for a cup of tea. You are now listening to part 5 of episode 19 of the Super Happy Fun Dabber from Tea Party with Kiki and Bones.
According to IMDb, so slight grain of salt. But
Yeah.
At least from a theatrical standpoint, it was shown at a Asian Film Festival in San Diego, and it's going to be in Santa Monica on the 27th. That's today, right? Yeah. Make it come out faster where I can see it easily.
Well, the only people who are going to show it are little art house theaters, which basically means you're going to have to drive probably 45 minutes to see it. If you're anything like mine, the nearest art house theater is like on the other side of the city.
No. I'd have to go to a different city, but it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Let me insert that. I live in a major city center, so when I say other side of the city, I mean like the other side of the metro area, like 40 or 50 miles.
Yeah. We do have an abandoned theater in town that I'd wish they'd fucking do something with.
Tear it down. That's what they always do. Or worse, turn it into a church.
I assure you, Some people may say otherwise, but I think there's enough churches in this town.
There's never enough churches. You always have room for a new sect of stupid people.
Where it is doesn't have great parking, so I don't think it would become a church.
Wow, it's actually 50 degrees outside right now.
That sounds cold.
That's beautiful. It's been like 25 for the last couple weeks at night. I could actually open the windows, pull a blanket over my lap, and be able to sit here in comfort. I'm not going to because I don't like being cold after this long, but, you know, I could.
It still sounds too cold, but I'm used to warmer weather.
Well, yeah, you live in California. If you lived in Minnesota, you'd be dead already. You'd be a keeksicle.
God, I would hate life. I do not like being cold.
You would hate life?
I would hate life.
Why? It's not that bad.
I'm cold. On the list of things I don't like to be cold is very high there, up there.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I never expected you to be a huge freeze baby. That's kind of interesting.
That just adds more to the bone pain and makes me not want to do anything and curse the gods and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, no, the definitely the temperature and barometric changes definitely suck on my joints, but I got used to it. Like, it's why God invented OxyContin.
It's apparently 56 outside right now.
Not bad. So we're almost the same temperature.
Right. Yeah, 56. I wish Crunchyroll had more of the Pretty Cure series.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I think I know what that series is, kind of, maybe.
It's the Magical Girl series.
Yeah.
Where, you know, it's technically multiple shows and they all share things, but they're not necessarily within the same universe.
Woot woot.
Yeah, we only have the first show, and I've already seen that. Although the image they have up for it is not from the first show. What the fuck?
Whoops. Whoops.
Oh, well. Can't have it all. I'll probably never get around to watching it anyway with all the other stuff I'm supposedly watching.
Yeah, that's my problem right now, too. It's like, no matter how hard I try... Well, actually, now I'm actually getting to the point I am actually, like, eating down the pile.
Nom.
I'm getting to the point now where I'm going to have to start ordering stuff again because I'm like...
Yes, because my pile is getting smaller, I must order more.
Well, no, I'm running into stuff where, like, I only have part of a series, and I don't like to start stuff until I have, like, the entire thing. I started with that, but I mean, that's... I don't know. Like, my other problem is that, like, a lot of stuff I've been watching has been just utter crap. Like more and more stuff is just generic shit. Like, I'm finding less and less anime. I'm just like, this is really interesting, and I should watch this some more. I'm like, this is okay, and I'm gonna finish it and then put it up on the wall and never watch it again.
Going back to the figurine thing. Yeah, I want some of these.
You want all the figurines?
Yes, I do. They're adorable. And the cups. And the little strappy thingies.
Yeah, the cell phone straps?
Yeah.
Or cell phone charms.
Yeah.
I'd take the hoodie. The hoodie looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
The mug wouldn't be bad either.
Yeah, I'd like the Sakamoto, the cat mug. I would love to have that. He's such a great character.
Isn't that the same mug? Yeah,
Is it just one side and the other?
Yeah, one side and the other. Yeah,
that works too.
The show just looks fun and adorable.
It is, because it's like, yeah, this is my ordinary life where there's not ordinary things happening, but it's still really very ordinary. It's kind of awesome.
Exactly.
The tiny little set. Oh, put them places. Look at them. Okay. Although I still haven't put up, like, anything on my shelves. I'm sitting in boxes right next to me. Because I'm awesome.
Accelerator, Itsuwa.
What?
Oh, I'm looking at the scientific railgun toys.
Ah, bottom.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know who any of those people are, but
I just watched the show, so I know who all of them are. Well, most of them are Railgun, which is funny because she's a side character in the first season of Index. She's the main character in the sequel season. She goes back to being a side character for the second season of Magical Index, and then goes back to being the main character for the second season of Railgun. So basically, it's a story about that goes from I can't ever say the guys the hero's point of view in Index, and then from her point of view in Railgun. Despite the fact that Index refers to Index the nun, well, the sister, I guess, and not him.
okay.
I actually love Index. She's a really fun character. Plus, there's just something hilarious about cutting away and cutting back and seeing her pissed off chewing on his head. Like literally just gnawing on his head. Ngong, 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 ngong. He's got bite marks all over him from her chewing on him.
Oh, is that what that gift set is from? Okay.
What?
It was a gift set running around Tumblr, but it didn't list what anime it came from.
Yeah.
So I had no idea if I was like, she chewing on him?
Yes, she chews on him when she's upset with him.
Okay.
Literally glomps onto him and just noms on his head. Because apparently one of the genetic gifts that he acquired was the ability to heal fairly quickly.
Mm.
So he's in the hospital like 4 or 5 times during the first season. It absolutely made me laugh. It gets to the point where he has the same doctor, and everybody knows this doctor. He's amazing. He works miracles. And he's like, "Hey, Doc, I'm just here again, just passing through." He's like, "My God, son, how many times are you going to have to get hurt fighting for these women before you realize you need to learn to take care of yourself?" I know. Holy crap, Planet is $52. That's actually not bad. Sorry, I'm planning on stuff I'd like to buy in the future because I'm silly like that.
Spending more money.
Shut up.
It's your money to spend.
I know.
Okay, you can go back to talking.
Oh, I didn't realize you were still recording. I thought you'd given up at some point.
Nope.
Wow. We might have enough info. We might have enough stuff for like 2 episodes.
There's quite a bit of silence in the first half. Because once we were done with Madoka, we were like,
Well, what do you want from me? You have nothing interesting to talk about. You're always driving me to talk, so I'm like, oh, okay, let's see.
Well, like, if we go back to Madoka, her, like, trail of wishes is kind of interesting.
The Trail of Wishes?
Her wish is to become Magical Girl in every timeline.
Well, because that's the whole deal, is that her becoming a Magical Girl and then turning into a witch unleashes so much energy that it completely fills the quota that they have to hit.
Well, no, like, in the first timeline, while powerful, because every time Homura goes backwards, because the focus is Madoka, she's making her more and more powerful every time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, Madoka's original wish, which is revealed later in a drama CD, is to save a cat that died. Really frivolous, but every wish at its center is, essentially about hope, because she's a beacon of hope.
Yeah.
So, but, when you have more of the information, it's, Madoka's essentially the same person every time, but she interacts differently. And that's pretty interesting on how, like, she's the first go around, she's telling Homura not to be frivolous with her wish, and then later Mommy's doing that to the girls. Sort of it's not just because Mommy's wish was frivolous, it's all kind of wishes are sort of frivolous in the end.
Yeah. Well, the problem with the wishes is that they're trying to prolong the inevitable. Is what
Yeah.
they're doing. They're none of them up until Sakuya's wish are really what you would call. I mean, not even really altruistic, because in the end, Sakuya's wish is about her wanting her crush to be happy, but it ends up kind of backfiring because other.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I never got. That other girl just randomly is like, "Oh, I'm in love with him." Okay.
Especially in her witch design, they were making the mermaid corollary, how she, from a standpoint, she just wants him to be better, to go back to the life he wanted, because the violet is very important to him. She also wants him to gain affection towards him, but she doesn't want it to be because of the wish afterwards, and it sends her down this dark spiral that isn't helped by the outside world just showing her how evil it can be, which is why she's inevitable to become a witch so fast.
Yeah. Well, and she like when she goes to that self-destructive spiral, she just increases it so much more.
That it doesn't help that, especially to herself, she's not actually all that powerful of a magical girl.
No.
Compared to the other girls, especially.
Yeah.
So she doesn't feel helpful, and it makes her wish feel kind of extra pointless.
Yeah.
Like, why am I in here?
Well, and I think that's one of those things that comes with maturity, too, is you realize when somebody offers you something like that, it's usually too good to be true. There's something they're not telling you. Which
is kind of one of the reasons Kyoko goes from, I hate you to I see myself in you / oh God, I need to try to save you.
Who now?
Kyoko.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I like, for whatever reason that never clicked in my head. You're talking about the redhead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, she also had she has a similar wish, but she went into more of a, I'm in this just for the doing of it now. Instead of life is completely meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of for her, just not as deeply.
Well, it was very realistic with its use of the whole, like, the magic girls don't exist as a force of good. They exist as a necessary machine to
do this thing we want.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, but honestly, I like the traditional magical girl, like, way more. I mean, it was a good story, and it it's a nice, put it out, what's the word for turn it on its head, but, like, I like Cardcaptor Sakura a lot. And I felt like, being a similar kind of... And Cardcaptor Sakura ended up being about love in all its forms. Some of it not as kosher here as it was there, but...
Yeah.
I mean, even Pretty Sammy, which is the Tenchi Muyo magical girl anime, like, is kind of fun because it's making fun of traditional, like, or what I guess you'd call 90s magical girl animes, like everything that came after Cardcaptor Sakura.
Yeah, like Lighthearted and whatnot. Well, a lot of magical girl shows at their core are, friendship and hope and dreams, while being some of them are like, why are you inviting this thing? But there's some sort of negative force in this world, and let's kill it with love, both metaphorically and physically.
Kill it with fire and a big stick.
Some magical girls get deep into the why is there this negative force, or why is some turned evil, and then others it's just a thing. It's a thing because we need to show these pretty things.
Exactly. Well, I mean, Cardcaptor Sakura had a deep story without being like negative, I guess. But it was the whole deal was that the power was a lineage thing. She was distantly related to Cloud Reed. So it's not like I don't know what the word I want is. Like it wasn't she was doing it because she was one of the possible candidates to become the next master of the cards, which were all basically just a small section of his powers contained. That's all they don't bring up a whole lot. It was basically those cards were just ways for him to basically. No one would ever be a magician like Cloud Reed ever again. He was like supposedly he was like one of a kind. But the whole deal was that he sealed like bits and pieces of his power in these cards, and then they get into the whole Void card that he made that at the last movie ends up basically starts absorbing the world into it.
I don't know a lot about the deep background plot of card captures other than chick collects cards.
You should really watch it. It's actually like the Japanese like version is just absolutely amazing.
If I can find it, I'll watch it. I'll put it on the list. Behind everything else.
Yes.
Well, maybe not behind. Maybe over the summer or something, because the semester is almost over.
I know, it's crazy. There's only a couple more weeks, and my friend Serene is like really excited, I know, because she's going to be done, and then, well, yeah, I guess excited is a word. Like, I'm happy that her semester's almost over, because it's been crazy. I feel weird, because this is the first like time that I haven't been in school in years, so I'm just like, oh crap, it's actually almost like May, and where the fuck did the winter go, and so on and so forth. But I mean, like, more specifically, like, I felt like Kamechu was kind of like Haruhi Suzumiya, but like cuter and less like crazy.
Okay.
The whole, girl, high school girl, or I guess she's a middle school girl with godlike powers.
Yeah.
Like, how does she deal with it? And I mean, I guess that's not really Haruhi Suzumiya, but I felt like it was, a similar vein kind of thing. And then
mundane setting with random person who, for some reason, has extraordinary abilities, but not necessarily in a superhero heroic sense.
Yeah, it's like a slice of life with a godlike power.
Which I like nice introspective things every now and then.
They just have shit like Lucky Star, which is just
an anime almost about pretty much nothing.
Yeah, it's Japanese Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Seinfeld. I don't know. I like animes that are okay with just being fun.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any deep message, or just fun. It's entertainment. I mean, I loved Lyrical Magical Girl Nahona. That was just crazy fun.
Yeah, I wish Crunchyroll had that.
Yeah, no one has that. That show's ancient at this point. You gotta pirate that shit. Yar.
I do wish you could see, easily, go out and buy it more of Sailor Moon, because the anime had its problems and everything, but it still told the story very well.
Yeah. I'm very tempted to order season 1 and season 2.
When they say season 2, what do they mean, season 2?
Let me
I mean, it's Sailor Moon R, but what do they count as season 2?
Hang on. It's in my wish list. Let's take a look.
You're selling it.
It's not really god-awful expensive either, surprisingly enough. It's very expensive, but it could be a whole lot more.
Is it are they selling the old dub, or is it a sub thing?
No, it's sub only. It's the whole uncut. Season 2... 42 episodes. starts episode 47. It looks like.
Knowledge of episode to episode is.
I'm guessing it probably starts with Sailor Moon R.
What does it say it starts at?
Let's see here, because the first one does. Crap. Okay, where do they have it here? There's not a lot of information because the show has been out of print for years, like literal years. Number of discs 8. I think this must be. So the other one starts in episode 47.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, Sailor Moon R.
Because season 2 is a bit weird because they had to make up some shit because there wasn't stuff to go off of. And then it's like, oh, okay, now there's stuff.
Yeah, because Sailor Moon S and Sailor Moon Super S are not ridiculously expensive, but they're another like $400 to get seasons 3 and 4.
Yeah. When you get to the other half of R, past the storyline they had to make up to fill episodes,
Yeah.
when the Dark Moon Kingdom comes, ignoring a lot of the filler, that starts down the possible future timeline.
Yeah.
Which a lot of the great plot comes from, because obviously the first story is more about the shit that happened in the past.
Yeah.
And this, like, what are the words I'm going for? Essentially, possible future Queen Serenity, which is Usagi grown up, so she's Neo Queen Serenity, essentially makes a choice.
Okay.
And it doesn't exactly work out. So she sends her weird-ass daughter back, who is hard to explain while being easy to explain, to a time where she feels like she would have made the choice better.
And that's Chibiusa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all the females are called Usagi in that line.
Ah, gotcha.
So her name is Usagi, but she's Chibi. So, and there's a lot of great characterization in it. The anime is a bit lost in some of the aspects, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm trying to explain. Sailor Moon in a whole is kind of like Madoka. She's this beacon of hope and shit.
Yeah.
Because less having to do with her power and more having to do with the person she is.
Yeah. She's not perfect. That's the whole deal.
Yeah, she's a person.
She's this whiny, normal schoolgirl. Like, that's, she's not real smart. She's not, like, super athletic. She's just kind of this average girl who's just kind of, her friends. Which
Chibiusa gives us insight into her as an adult and how she's still kind of that person. She doesn't...
Yeah.
It's not something she grows out of, but at the same time, she's also this great ruler. Because she's understanding of people and whatnot.
Yeah, what's the whole deal? She's a human being. She's not an ideal.
I think the point I was trying to get at, although I'm not sure where it was going anymore, is that for magical girls, it's not necessarily that the main character is the most powerful being, because later on, more this solar system Senshi show up and kick the ever-living shit out of them because they are far more powerful. But in the end, they win because of not necessarily just unity, but the shared power of hope and friendship. Yeah. Also because they didn't, go, ooh, I see chaos. I don't think that's right. I'm going to consume it. Which is essentially what happens to the villain of the last season. She went batshit crazy because she found the center of chaos and tried to destroy it to bring peace to the world.
Crazy.
Even though chaos is a part of life and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Chaos isn't a thing, it's an idea.
Yeah.
There's there's not order, there's chaos. Yeah, I never understood why we never got Sailor Stars.
Because men become women become men. And you can't say they're cousins, because they clearly are men who become women.
No, I get that. I'm not talking about the Deke dub. I'm talking about, like, just in general. They never did a release of it.
There's no subbed release either?
No.
Well, that's shit.
Yeah, they got all the way up to season 4, and then they quit.
So I think that aspect is different because they're not actually men. They're pretending to be men. They're in height.
Yeah.
But from a physical aspect, they are men.
Wait, what?
Their costumes. It's not so much that they're dressing like men. They have literally transformed their humanoid selves into men to hide from people that's coming, and they're only in their normal form when they're transformed.
Gotcha. That's not a terrible idea. But I mean, that was what I liked about Cardcaptor Sakura. She's this, like, 10-year-old girl who's just trying to, do the right thing. And her she fights with her brother, and loves her father, and her friends give a shit, and her guardian is a giant fucking flaming lion that spends most of his time as a small stuffed animal. Why? Because you can eat more cake when you're 6 inches tall than when you're 3 feet or 6 feet tall.
Sure.
No, seriously, he brings it up at one point. She asks him, she's like, if, like, when she actually, like, unlocks his true form, she's like, why do you stay in your compressed form? He's like, I can eat more cake this way.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Because, obviously if you're you're 6 inches tall, then, a slice of cake is a lot bigger in comparison.
Yeah, I see that. I would think it would be more the practicality of keeping it in the house, but...
What now? Oh, yeah. Well, like, technically, he doesn't have to, like, the Guardians in that are really weird. They don't actually have to take a physical form. He just chooses to stay in a physical form all the time, but in, like, the compressed hero's form. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how he, in the English dub, he sounds like Corey Feldman.
I don't know.
What now?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no, it's... The English dub movies, he sounds like Corey Feldman, and it's absolutely amazing. I think I talked about that, like, at the first episode of our show last, like, August, but, like, I've come back to it because, yeah, I need to rewatch it again. Not soon, but sometime.
God, I hope the new Sailor Moon anime doesn't suck. And that it actually happens.
Yeah, it sounds like it's been postponed.
It doesn't even have to be that great. It just needs less dick around episodes, because the time frame is like 3 years for all of those seasons.
Yeah.
Because she starts at 14, and last season she's 16.
That's like Yu Yu Hakusho, for God's sake.
Yeah.
That takes place over like 1 school year.
God, that's a lot of stuff. Although I suppose they'll have to make up less for filler. So.
Well, that's the whole deal. I mean, if you pick up a show after they've finished writing it, it's a lot easier to do it than when they're in the middle of writing it.
I still recommend that people watch the live-action show. It's a bit corny at times, but it is awesome.
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes of it. It seems pretty cool.
And I just love their take on, because they only do the first story arc, but I love their take on it.
Yeah, it seemed interesting. That was another one I was kind of surprised they didn't do an English release. I mean, they wouldn't have had to do much, just kind of, package it and send it off.
Mm-hmm. But, we can't get everything we want.
Obviously, everything should be free and available at all times.
Magical world. Okay. Only because it's almost 1 a.m., I think we should call it, so that I have enough time to edit this before it passes the fuck out.
I agree. I've actually run out of things to talk about, truly. Just like, yeah, sure. Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
Oh god, it's even later for you, huh?
It's 3 a.m.
Time zones!
It's alright, I don't have work till noon. I'm meeting with people, doing stuff. It's easier to meet on Saturday when there's no traffic to get in and out of our office than it is to meet during the week. I'm lazy, I know.
Your promotion seems to make you go to a lot more meetings.
Yeah, that's
Or you just didn't talk about them as much before.
Well, usually what I would be doing on Saturdays is just going in and working on shit that I didn't want to work on during the week. It gave me time to just sit by myself. Because it's all, I just take a week off, take a day off sometime during the week when I come in on Saturdays. But, it's just that, like, you know, I'm planning to be there till about 7 and then come home, and then that should give me enough time to basically get everything done, so I don't have to do any extra shit this week.
This is the end of part 5. Thank you for listening to yet another episode of the Super Happy First Frosty Party. Farewell.
Okay then. Good night, Bones.
Hi, Kiki.
Good night.
You guys are crazy, yo. Crazy.